morning, everybody. Good morning. It is Monday morning, and I am doing a reaction video. Thank you for tuning in to Carol's Daily Sauce. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to be reminded of all the videos that I upload. I will be uploading every single day in October for my participation in Vlogtober 2019. I will be uploading videos, reactions, because we know that the infamous three, as well as other people, even in the entertainment industry, always have something going on. But you guys, I'm reacting to my jazzed up life, okay? Jasmine, single mother of 4 children. Now, I will tell you this before I start to talk about the video in great detail. It's a very sad video, and I will tell you this. I do feel for her. However, going into the video, she did put out a very transparent video of how hard her days are. I like the way that she set it up with the typing and how some people think that her life is simple. Now, I don't know who told her that people think that her life is simple. Maybe somebody told her that they think her life is simple. But my issue with Jasmine is this. Why are you worried about whether or not people understand your life? You're human. We all go through situations and circumstances that are sometimes unbearable and overwhelming for all of us. And then she went on to say that she knows that people are going to judge her judge her in the sense of saying that you have these kids, take care of them. She did go on to say that she did have the kids. She did make the choice to have them. However, she did not decide to be single and raising them on her own. This is where I have to really interject and say this. First and foremost, you're not the only single parent. There are hundreds of thousands of single parents out there. Secondly, marriage is not all promised to us. Good relationships are not promised to all of us. The issue that we have here is this. I know, everybody else knows, if you kept up with Jasmine said that she and Philip have been together since middle school. If in fact they've been together since middle school, as she says, it would seem to me that even if you didn't know what he was doing exactly, you should have had an inkling that something illegal was going on. See, this is the issue with women. When women know that their significant other or their husband or whatever their old man, however you want to phrase it, whatever you want to call him, a lot of times these women know that their husband or significant other is dibbling and dabbling in unlawful practices such as selling drugs, doing money laundering, and all kinds of illegal things. But what happens is they get so caught up in the lifestyle that they allow it to go on. Now, I am in no way saying that I know exactly what Philip went to jail for. I don't, and I don't even care. That's not the issue here. The issue here is we have a young mother who is severely overwhelmed. I feel for Jasmine. I have been there at her age. At Jasmine's age, I too had 3 children. I was overwhelmed, and the way that I was overwhelmed is because I was married to someone in the military, and more often than not, he was out to sea fighting for our country. Now, let me tell you something. Situations happen. Excuse me, you guys, I'm having some issues with allergies really bad this morning. Situations happen within our marriage where there were times when he had to go out to sea. I mean, literally, he was in the Navy, my ex-husband. Literally, he would come home. He would be home 5 days. He would go out 14 days. He would come home 2 days and go out for 2 months. So I know how it is to raise children alone. I'm speaking on something that I experienced. I'm not just on the outside looking in. I've been overwhelmed. I ended up separating from my ex-husband and having to raise my children on my own. And I was 3,000 miles away from my family. I'm not the type of person who takes easily to people when it comes to my children. When it came to my children and my children were younger, because of some of the issues and the things that I experienced as a young girl, I didn't trust people around my children. So more often than not, I was the one taking them places. I was the one participating in this and that. But there are issues in people's lives, in families, in marriages right now, where the mother and the father individually both get overwhelmed, and they are also living in the household together. So it has nothing to do with the fact that you're a single parent right now and the father is in jail. She said in the video that she thought that she was going to have a partner. Nothing is promised to any of us. As I said before, she knew the illegal opportunities, the illegal things he's doing. She knew it. There's no way that she wouldn't. I want to say this also. Folks just need to be really, really careful what they put on social media, because she kept saying throughout the whole video, I know you guys are going to come out with this, and I know you guys are going to say this, and you're going to do this, and I don't give a this. And in the background, all you hear are twins hollering and screaming. One daughter is taking something to the little baby's shoe and trying to rip the shoe in half. It's just like mass confusion going on, while all this woman is doing is trying to drink her water and eat her noodles. She indicated she's not eating well, and this is all not good. This is all not good, because what ends up happening is it's going to take a toll on her physical body. Our feelings are manifested, and we become overwhelmed, and we show outwardly how we feel on the inside. But God forbid if she stops expressing, if she stops venting. I don't like the fact that she put it on social media, because it opens an opportunity for people to attack her. My intent in doing the reaction video is not to attack her, but it's just to offer some suggestions. She has to be careful also, because when you put things out, excuse me, when you put things out on social media, people will cross and trick your words up. She said this and she said that, when in fact it's not even the issue. In fact, when you put things up on social media such as this, you're actually asking for judgment, but not. So I will be discussing some things that I actually decided to partake in, to kind of take the load off of me, because in addition to me being a single parent, as my children got older, I had to also go to work. Jasmine has to realize, as well as all the other content creators, when you discuss your life and all the aspects of your life with the world, people are going to do reactions. She needs to find some friends. She really does. She needs to find some friends that she can vent to, some friends that she can talk about the things that are going on in her life. Maybe not everything verbatim, but, a good friend that you can talk to that might be able to give you some advice about situations that maybe they have experienced. She also needed to put on some clothes in that video. Now, I know people are probably going to come for me for that, but there is no reason that she should be on the video with her cleavage hanging out, her breasts hanging. That looks so nasty. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Can we please just get a code of ethics? Please, can we get a code of ethics? I could clearly see in this vlog that she was struggling. She was up 1 minute, and when I say up 1 minute and down the next, I mean as far as the monotone of her voice. So it's clear that Jasmine is stressed out. It's very clear. She says the kids are crying and they're throwing fits, and that she needed a break. I believe that. I was thinking while I was watching the video, okay, Jasmine, have you asked your mother for help? Like when you took your daughter to the hospital and you only left, I forgot not Caden, the little baby boy, I can't remember his name. She only left him. What she should have did is should have left him and the older daughter, because that way she would have only had to take two. And I cannot believe that her mother would not only watch two of them, or would only watch one. I realize that the grandmother has raised her children, and maybe she doesn't want to help out, but there has to be someone else that can really help her. And as I said, I'm going to give some suggestions of what she probably can do. But Jasmine really needs to have a heart-to-heart personally with her mother. I know in the videos and things that I've seen, it's more of like a friendship, and that's okay, because me and my daughter have a friendship, very loving relationship, a friendship type thing. But sometimes you have to let your parents know, or your loved ones know how vital it is for you just to get a day away, to get an hour away, to get a weekend away. She's complaining that she's home all the time and her life is always kids. Well, that's what you chose, Jasmine. You chose to have your babies, and I know good and well, because it didn't happen with me. I know good and well when you married Philip, on that line that you signed your name, okay? It did not say that you weren't going to have trials. It did not say that you weren't going to have struggles. It did not say that your children were not going to get on your nerves. Now, she's overwhelmed, and she's yelling at the kids, and she's saying that she wishes her life can be different. Well, who doesn't? We all have situations and things that we go through. She wishes that Philip were there to help her, whether they're together or not. I'm sorry, based on his lifestyle and the things that she says, that he wouldn't be around my children by himself. I would have to have my children visiting him, but I'd have to see him with my children. I don't understand why she doesn't seek help, because she needs help. She does. I also believe that she needs to revamp her life. She needs to revamp her life and get her life in order. As I said, I will be giving some suggestions, because you know what? Those kids hollering and screaming in the background, those kids holler and scream in the background because she allows them to holler and scream in the background. Granted, the two babies will act a certain way. They will. They'll put on temper tantrums, but them two older daughters, There should be a standard that those children know. I bet not act out, and I bet not act up. Because if I act up and act out, I'm going to suffer the consequences of what it is that my mother has to give me. Twins can be overwhelming. They can. I've never raised twins. I do know of people who have raised twins. I know of women who breastfeed and have breastfed in the past when their children were babies and breastfed babies. They would have one baby on one breast and the other one on the other. So it's hard. She has 4 kids, 2 that are the same age. I totally get it. But she had those children. She chose to have those children, and she can do this. But she needs to ask her mother. She did mention in the video that her mother had been sick. And I feel for her. I do feel for her. She went on to say that she's tired of holding back and hiding stuff. Well, holding back and hiding stuff can be somewhat of good, especially when you are dealing with social media and you don't want the reaction videos. When I seen her start to cry, she was kind of beating herself up. Why am I on here and I'm crying? You know what? Let me tell you something, Jasmine. Cry, honey. Cry is a way of release. And oftentimes it makes you feel 100% better when you release and cry. And that's probably what she needs to do. She indicated that her vlogging is struggling as far as vlogging every single day. She has not been doing that because she's just so tired. And her children are stressing her out. She needs to vent. Then she tends to go off on her family, saying that they're not helping her. Now, I don't know who she's referring to. I have no idea. She had at one time cut the video off because she said she didn't want to expose people. But instead of sharing this with us, instead of sharing this as content on YouTube, she needs to talk to the people that she feels are not helping her, because It's one of these types of situations. You want to vent because you want to get it off of you, but it's probably better to vent to those who might be willing to help you because they are in fact your family. This is a sad situation. It really, really is. I feel that she needs to train her children. I was a young mother at her age. I went through the same thing, but you've got to be willing to help yourself. She said her children fight all the time. Let me tell you something. I just found out that my younger son would be getting into disagreements with his brother. They never physically fought because my younger son is about 7 years younger than my older son. So quite naturally, he wasn't going to be picking and beating on his brother, but he would tease him. And I just found that out. But the reason I just found that out a couple of years ago is because it was things that I didn't tolerate, you guys. There were things I did not tolerate with my children. Did I do excellent in raising my children? I would say so. None of my children have given me any problems. I didn't have all the answers to everything. I made some mistakes just like all of us mothers do. But I do believe I did a good job because I can see the effects of my raising my children every single day. And talking, I'm not currently with them, but talking to them, all of them have jobs. They all live on their own and they're doing well. And one is actually raising and setting up and preparing for her own family. Jasmine said in the video that a lot of people she's tired of everybody wanting money. Don't give it to them. You don't have no money to give. You don't have no money to give people. And then she went on to talk about her daughter, Kaylin, and I believe that's the oldest one, how Kaylin wants her to go places and she wants her to participate in her school activities. And I can understand that because children want to know that they matter. But what Jasmine needs to explain to Kaylin is this. Kaylin, I guess it is this. Mommy cannot do everything. Sometimes when you can go to the parent-teacher conferences, for instance, that just came up. When I was sick, because I had been battling with an illness for years, and my ex-husband was out to sea, I would communicate with the teacher that I was sick and what I was going through. Is there any way that I can do parent-teacher conferences on the phone? They did it with no problem. Everything that it was that my children's teachers could help me with, they did. Granted, I live in the state of California. I don't know how Texas functions, but I believe that if she were to reach out, and seek help, she would be able to get help. She says that she's falling apart and she feels like her kids are ungrateful. First of all, your children are young. They probably are ungrateful, okay? I mean, sometimes the way that she talks to the children is out of pocket. I would never do it like that. I would never do it. I don't understand how she can even justify some of the ways and the things that she does to her children. Now, I said that I was going to give a little advice, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. First, talk to your mother. I know she said that her mother was sick, but her mother don't look sick when she be over there dancing and cooking. There has got to be a time, maybe one day out of the week, because I think her mother still works, but maybe one day out of the week where her mother might be able to take the children, maybe for just 2 hours a day. There's also a thing called after school programs. The two older kids, you can get those two older kids in after school programs. I know in the state of California, and the state of California does have a bit of money, but depending on where you are, but the state of California has state-funded programs where the kids can get out of school, and after they get out of school, up until I believe 6 o'clock, free of charge, they can go and do after-school programs. Next, she can look into trying to get her daughters into, they have a big brother, big sister programs. She can look into that. There are resources and things out there where she can get the help. I do have a really important resource that I think she needs to look into too, but I'll discuss that in a few minutes. Another thing that she can do, Jasmine tends to spend money foolishly at times, okay? We all do. But how about getting a babysitter on a Friday night to take care of all of those 4 kids, a little 16, 17-year-old young lady, maybe two sisters, and paying them a couple of dollars to watch the children for a few hours. There are so many resources. There are so many things that can be done, but I don't think that I would have gotten in front of a camera crying and saying how overwhelmed I am when I have the resources, or not when I have the resources, when there are resources out there. The one thing that I do want to say is this. There's an old saying, and actually it's scriptural, but the world says it like this: when you know better, you do better. That also applies to our children, okay? When our children know that they can get away with things, they do everything that they can get away with. But when we put that rod to them and let them know you're not going to do this and you're not going to do that, that changes things. There is no reason that her daughter should have been on that video taking an object to tear up her sister's shoe. There's no reason. But I think what's going on is Jasmine is so overwhelmed. I don't think that she gives, I think I had heard one time in a reaction video that she gives a lot of attention to certain children. At one time, I think it was little Philip. Isn't that his name? I think that is his name. No, I'm sorry, Aiden, because it's Ava and Aiden. I call him little Philip because he's the only boy. But a lot of people were like, she's given more attention to Aiden than she did to Ava. And Ava was learning at a slower pace, which is strange because most of the time girls do learn at a faster pace than the boys do. But it just depends. You know, children are individual. Children learn things on their own time. They pick up on things, walking, crawling, and all that stuff on their own time. But what Jasmine needs to do is to look into resources. Sometimes you have to make the time. I mean, put all of them down for a nap, okay? The 2 older daughters, put them down for a nap. I mean, I've seen lives, okay, that Jasmine has done, literal lives. And in those lives, you can hear her talking to us inside what was her office at one time, but is now what it was intended to be, the washroom. And she'd be like, yeah, and such and such and such, talking to the camera. And then she'd go, sit down, y'all need to go to bed. You know what? You know, put your children on a schedule. Schedule the 2 youngest ones to bathe them at a certain time. And once you bathe them at a certain time and you give them their bottle, if they're still on bottles, I don't watch her like that, but however it is that you do, get your children. Let me tell you something about my children. My children had to be in bed at a certain time up until a certain age, and they had to take naps. Little people need to take naps. Every last one of her children need to take naps. Every last one of them. The 2 oldest ones, they can only get an hour. But the 2 youngest ones, they can sleep a little bit longer. To sit up in a bed and cry for hours upon hours is absolutely positively ridiculous. And she said, I changed them, I fed them, and she got them she has them in the crib looking at TV. First of all, the kids are not in prison, okay? They shouldn't, the crib should not be babysitting her children. See, it's a lot of things that Jasmine does, she does because she don't know. And I don't want to say didn't nobody tell her, but didn't nobody tell her? Obviously, because I mean, you can't do that. She needs to seek resources and see if she can find out what kind of help is out there to help her. Because guess what? People crack. As a matter of fact, she said people can go ahead and do these reaction videos, but they have to realize that people take their lives and people are upset and they're depressed and people hate on you and you know, hate you and hate, but that we as reactors need to think about that. Well, what she needs to do is not worry about people. Don't worry about people and what they think about how you are doing what you're doing, especially if you are a content creator. I'm coming back, you guys. These dogs are howling. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna cut this short though because it's getting kind of long, but we're gonna keep doing our reaction videos and there's nothing wrong with it. I don't care if people continue to dislike my reaction videos because, you know, it's my platform. I do what it is that I want on here and you have the choice to come here or leave. But what you won't do is come here and disrespect. And I'm going to continue to say that. I just wish that Jasmine would use the common sense that she has. But not only that, Jasmine has a degree. If you have a degree, you know what she could do? She could go and use that degree and get a job and put those kids in daycare. And with the degree that she has, I'm telling you, I know in the state of California, they have daycare programs in which they help you with daycare. I don't know if Texas does that, but I know that there are resources out there. And a lot of times with resources, we don't know anything about them. And because we don't know anything about them, we suffer in silence. So the one thing that I would say to Jasmine is do not suffer in silence. Lastly, what she might need to do, because she's so depressed and overwhelmed, not saying that she's going to take her life or she's going to do anything to her children. I'm not saying that at all. But you know what? A lot of times when we get depressed, that means that our mental health is suffering. She needs to seek some type of help so that she doesn't have to feel so overwhelmed. Sometimes just talking to people. I mean, you know, I used to go to a therapist, and honey, like I tell everybody, and I think I've said this in one of my other videos before, darling, I have lost weight and gained weight from being depressed and going through anxiety. And I'm telling you, talking to a therapist, getting some mental counseling, a lot of times will help. People have to understand and be educated. Just because you go to a therapist or a psychotherapist or whatever type of therapist it is that you go and visit does not make you crazy. It just means that you had enough sense to know, I need some help. And you never know. She could go through a therapist, the therapist talks to her, the therapist could open the door to several different types of resources that are out there that she knows nothing about. With that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to be reminded of all the videos that I upload. Thank you so much for tuning into Carol's Daily Sauce and tuning into this reaction video. Please do share it with your family and friends. Invite everybody over. I have a lot of things coming up, and I don't only do reaction videos. I do reaction videos. I also do reviews. I do real life situations. I don't do a lot of real life situations as far as my life because I choose to keep my life private. I don't want to expose all my life out to the internet. I don't think it's you guys' business. Not that I have anything to hide, but there are just some things in my life that I choose to keep to myself. With that being said, have a wonderful, wonderful Monday and an even greater rest of the week. I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.